So a few weeks ago, late August, the house draw fire here was sparked by lightning. The combination of dry weather, hot temperatures, and high winds for a couple days in a row pushed this fire, and it rapidly became a very large fire. As of now, we're recording this September 4th, the fire's about 94% contained, but it burned almost 175,000 acres of prairie and ranch land here in northeast Wyoming, just outside of Buffalo, which is just a few miles from here. Preliminary estimates, early estimates, are that there's nearly $25 million in goods and infrastructure burned up and destroyed in this fire. We'll have a link to a news article below in the description giving you more details if you want to learn more about this fire, but federal, state, and local firefighters were all involved, and professional firefighters were all involved in the efforts to combat this fire, as well as a whole bunch of local volunteers, whether just ranchers or other people living in the community wanted to pitch in and help, providing their own equipment to help do fire lines and other such things, and also water tanks. A lot of the ranchers around here, pretty much all the ranchers, I think, have their own water tanks on trucks, or they can be mounted on trucks quickly in case of a wildfire, because they want to get out there and start trying to get things stopped. And about 80% of the land that burned up in this fire, out of the, almost 175,000 acres, about 80% of it was private property. So amongst the losses, and I'm taking this from an article in the Cowboy State Daily News, total losses at 151,279 acres of private land. That includes 610 miles of fencing, 7 corrals, 3 buildings, 9 storage tanks, 8 water tanks, 1 water pipeline, 2 solar wells, 52 livestock animals, and 325 round bales of hay. County's early estimates, they figure weed treatment alone is going to cost more than $12 million to remediate after this. And the problem is, you see a fire like this, the grass is going to come back pretty quickly when it rains on, get snow on it this winter. A lot of this will be turning green again. We've actually seen a few places this morning where grass is starting to pop back up again. It's only been about 2 weeks. The catch is, there are going to be a lot of weeds popping up as well, and that's a big issue out here in the west. So they're going to be having to do weed control as well. That's estimated at a little over $12 million to treat the nearly 175,000 acres. Second biggest expense, fence replacement. That more than 600 miles of fencing, well, that's estimated at almost $12 million. Other losses to this community include more than $50,000 in grazing fees, $140,000 approximately for corral replacement for all those corrals that were destroyed, $75,000 for storage tank replacements, $28,000 for water tank replacements. Solar wells, I'm not even 100% sure what solar wells are, except for they must be wells that are operated by solar electricity, I guess. I don't even know. $7,000. Lost equipment, $50,000. Hay losses, pushing $80,000. So whole lot of losses here, some serious damage. We could not come over during the fire because they had Interstate 90 shut. It started on the one side of the highway, and then as the wind was pushing, they jumped the interstate, a 4-lane interstate, and lit the other side on fire, and they had to shut the entire interstate down for days. People who needed to get back and forth between Buffalo and Gillette here in northeast Wyoming were having to make a several-hour trip each way to go way out of the way, because there's not a lot of roads out here, especially major roads, and they had all these shut down. So they're currently starting the early process of applying for, there is a disaster declaration, agricultural disaster declaration, and they're trying to find some additional state and federal funding to help recoup some of these 25 million and counting losses here due to these fires. And this is only one big fire in Johnson County, Wyoming, near Buffalo. There's another big one that's pretty well put out now in Campbell County, north of Gillette, that burned all the way up into Montana, and there's been a bunch of others around. These are just the ones real close to our home. So we had to come over this week for an errand to go to Buffalo, and as we're coming along, we were just amazed at how extensive the damage was. I knew there was a big fire, but I kind of thought it will be a smaller area where it jumped the highway, and just driving mile after mile after mile through this. And the only thing I could think of was, like, this looks like a post-apocalyptic landscape. Everything is just burned to the ground. So there are people out working. They've already got crews out working to repair guardrails that were burned up, and fencing that's burned up, and other things. So we got some footage to share that with you guys, and we also, got the drone up to show you around what things look like from the air with a bigger perspective. But this is the house draw fire in Johnson County, Wyoming. Started, I think it was the 21st of August, and burned for quite a while. Almost 175,000 acres consumed, and there's another one. So if you find this interesting, we'll go up and do the other one in Campbell County as well. Let us know in the comments if you find it's interesting to see this, just the scale of this. It was mind-blowing to us, the scale of this fire and the aftermath of the house draw fire.